Hello YouTube, Reseller Mom here. Welcome to today's video. Today is a video request that was asked by Tammy. Tammy, thank you for asking this question. And it was a great question that I had a good time kind of piecing out how I do all my admin type activities. So I'm trying to keep it mainly just for Amazon here and piece through kind of all of the admin activities and how I organize and how I do what I do. But that's, what I'm showing you, you need to look at your own business and kind of piece together what you need to do and map it out. So some things, are definitely things that you will be doing, and some may be future activities, or maybe you have a different way of doing them. So I will give you a peek into my world and how I lay out my week so I can get all my administrative stuff done. Thanks for joining me. Let's get started. Starting off with daily activities, I have some of the daily activities listed to the left, and then over here are two of my boards on Trello. I have been using, all sorts of different things. This year I am using Trello to keep track of all of my tasks. They allow you to keep different boards and then have different cards under those boards. So I have one for projects, I have today to do, I have this week to do, I have waiting on other people's actions, I have a completed part, and then I have a board just for future ideas, future things that I may want to look into. I don't want to completely forget about them, but they're just not, there's only so much room in the day for right now. On today's to-do, I've got a Cellbrite, which is my shirt project doing. I've got this video that I'm doing for Tammy on daily, weekly, monthly admin tasks. I've got a particular video that I want to watch on high pricing error alerts, how to fix them, for a full-time FBA that I want to watch that caught my eye and I didn't have time to watch, so I threw it on my Trello board. I've got to talk with my CPA on what name I want Amazon to be. This came up in insurance. Amazon asked for insurance, and the legal name that it was under is not my business name, so I don't know if it should be or how I want to set that up. And I've got a vendor that I need to call on Monday to set up ordering with. Waiting on other people's actions, I've got 2 compliance paperworks, and I've got a TaxJar email spam. TaxJar updated their stuff, and anyhow, it sent me like 30 emails saying it needed access, but it didn't really need access anyhow, so I've got to follow up and get that cleared out. So on my daily list, I'm going to wake up and check my emails. This is going to include sales, so I kind of know what's been selling, which is going to line up with what I need to go purchase. But I do check my emails. I'm looking for any actionable items. If there's any actionable items, I'm going to go ahead and put it on my Trello board. Now today is Saturday the 18th of September, so this is what my board looks like going in on Friday, and what it will look like starting on Monday. And as the weekend comes through, if I'm not at work, I'm just going to be adding a card, to it so that I know what to do on Monday when I get into work. And once I get in on Monday, I'm going to update my Trello board. I'm going to organize it so that I do the most important things first. And that's why some of this stuff is still on there from Friday, because it's like, yeah, I'd like to watch this video, but that's not super important. It's just something that I want to do. But following up with compliance paperwork is much more important. Doing ordering is much more important. Okay, so on my Trello board, I'm going to put on whatever ordering I need to do. So I'm going to check stock levels and see what's out of stock. Add that, hey, I need to order from here and there. Responses for anything that I need a response to, I'm going to add to my Trello board. Respond to Tim's email about, if I want to go ahead with this order or something's out of stock or whatever. Goals, if I have any goals for the day, I'm going to go ahead and put them on there. So this would be with projects and things like that. So I am looking for a warehouse right now, and that has some things. So the next step in my warehouse journey is to kind of draw up how I want production to flow with the space that I'm going to get and do some rough numbers. So I may put that onto my Trello board, those smaller tasks for that larger goal. information to further look into, that's kind of where this link came into as I'm looking at Facebook or see your guys' comments. You know, I know somebody had said, check out this store or check out this video or whatnot. I may stick that on my Trello board. And again, I have one board right next to it that has kind of like all the things I want to do, and then I'm going to drag the ones over that I need to get done priority wise. That's why I like using the Trello, because you can drag the little cards around. But however you want to line up your tasks, especially for administration tasks, go ahead and find a system that works for you. I have used Google Keep in the past, Google Sheets. I've used calendars. I've put them on Google Calendars. I've had just sheets of paper where I write things down. I have taken all the things I need to do and kind of typed them out into a page that I can print off every day or every week and have, you know, these are the tasks I have. However you want to keep track of them, definitely keep track of them. I put on there Amazon tasks with my partner, so new listings that we need to build or fix, research or sales for new items. So if there's a new store that I want to try out, maybe we found a new wholesaler for something and we want to look at their items and see if it's a store we want to go with, or if it's an application for a new wholesaler, I'll put on there, you know, apply to XYZ store, and then if I'm waiting on the application to go through, then it's going to go over in the waiting for other people's actions, right? Okay, so going through my Trello board, doesn't usually take me very long, but it stems off the emails and what, you know, I'll look at my board and see what projects we're working on and get that arranged up. So then I've got my to-dos lined out for the day, which is so helpful. Let me tell you, that's so helpful. To make sure nothing gets dropped off. I'm a visual person, and if I don't see it, then I forget about it completely. Going to line up on my whiteboard what we're packing for the day. So I have two people that pack for me, and on the whiteboard, half of it, or one side is for my daughter in her school and the other side is for work. On there we've got all of the important dates coming up, and then I will have on there kind of what we're doing. Like Friday was Walmart order came in. So we're going to work on Walmart, and then we're going to work on this store or that store. And whatever I'm calling it is usually what the batch name in Inventory Lab is called. So my Walmart order is under a batch called Walmart in Inventory Lab. So they'll know how to find it in Inventory Lab so they can print out labels and get things packed up. I'm going to log any completed batches or goals. So at the end of the day, if we have a completed batch in Inventory Lab, we log how many items we did, the average sale price, the average profit, etc. I will show you that later on in a slide. And I line up any purchasing. So back with looking at emails and stuff, I'm going to line up my purchasing on this card so I can knock out purchasing so I can have stuff to pack next week. For weekly admin tasks, this is what I got going on, and I did put what my VA does, and if it doesn't say VA, then that's what I do, right? Sometimes, I think every single thing on here, other than 3 VA items, I do. Okay, so for the VA, I've got her deleting inactive listings that I'm not planning on restocking for both my US, Mexico, and Canada. If you're not familiar, if you're in the NARF program and you're selling on Mexico and Canada, you need to go in and delete inactive listings on those as well as your American inventory, which is, I think that's really dumb. They need to have, once you delete it off your American account, delete it off your Mexico and Canada, because it's fulfilled by your American warehouses. So anyhow, hopefully they update that. How does she know how to do inactive listings, and how did I beef this up? This is something that was new this year that I added to my goals and whatnot. Having a VA and having her do some of the repetitive tasks. When I'm in Inventory Lab, all of my SKUs are built by store name _ price _ random number. So she knows like all my Burlington items are one-off items, and once they're 30 days old, they can be deleted out of the system, no problem. So that bra that sold, it's going to be called like Burlington _ 399 _ 1234. And once that listing is inactive and it's been inactive for 30 days, she knows to go and just delete it. If by chance it gets back into my inventory. It goes under fixed stranded inventory, and it's pretty easy to relist. The VA is also going to go through Instagram following and unfollowing for my Shopify store. That's something that, again, I've written SOPs for all 3 of these, so she knows how to do it. And she has a Trello board as well. Most of the other items are for Shopify, so I only put the ones that were applicable for this video for admin tasks on here. But if you are doing Amazon and you want Instagram for your products or whatnot, having a VA doing the social media for it would be something that I would suggest. It's been very good. Adding pricing rules to new inventory on Be Cool. Again, she knows my default standard is to get 30% ROI. And then I have switched to the AI repricer officially with Be Cool as of last month. So I think that's been a good move. I haven't done a deep dive analysis into that yet, but she goes and adds new items twice a week into the repricing so that they are getting repriced. Fridays, I gotta pay everybody. So that's an admin task. On Fridays is payday, so I get everybody paid out on Friday. And then every Friday that my Amazon check goes into, so every other week, I pay my bills and examine all my finances and purchases. And that's how I found out my credit card was hacked about a week ago. Got my new credit card ordered, and with this task, I would suggest, and I have a list of everything that is a reoccurring payment every month, so I know what my overhead reoccurring payments are, and also what cards they are tied to. So I do like linking all of those reoccurring payments to a credit card so I can earn mileage points. And also when a card does get hacked, it's less sticky than if your bank account gets hacked. It's easier to fix. So when my bank account got hacked, it was really easy. I added to my Trello board, set up new card for all the payments attached to this card number, and I could go in and see, okay, that means Keepa, Be Cool, Inventory Lab, my UPS account, etc., and get them changed over in a very efficient and time manner, instead of thinking, geez, which card was this attached to, what ones are affected, etc. It was all laid out in nice easy peasy way. Fridays, I also file receipts and paperwork into the filing cabinet here. At the end of the month, they go into the garage. We'll talk about that on the monthly one. But, gather around all the paperwork sitting around the office because it's a mess. And on Friday, we tidy up. I typically take out the trash and just, in general, try to get the office straightened out on Fridays. Put all of these receipts and paperworks into the filing cabinet. I do my QuickBook mileage. So log into the phone, swipe left, swipe right. QuickBooks is great. You can also have rules that if you know there's a place that you always go to and it's always going to be business and it's always going to be categorized a particular way, you can add that in and create those rules just to save a little bit of time and money. Or not money, but time. Time is money though, right? So I make sure I get my mileage done on a weekly basis. If I forget this one and wait a couple weeks, then it gets progressively harder to remember where I went and for what. Scanning receipts into Fetch Rewards and Receipt Pal, that saves me, I get money at the end of the year for doing that. You get points, and then those points get turned into gift cards. At the end of the year, I get those gift cards, and I usually use those gift cards to help out with family for Christmas. Last year, I got between $100 and $150 between Receipt Pal and Fetch Rewards. We did a couple of whatever gift cards for people and just helps out with Christmas time. This year I've added on Pogo, which automatically links, so I just have to go in there and hit yes for the purchases. You have to go and do one click. Really easy. So I've added that third one. On the desktop, that's automatic. I have both Honey and Ratukin. Ratukin gives you a quarterly payment. You don't have to do anything with that. And same with Honey. I don't think you have to do anything with Honey. Honey's new to me, so I don't know if there's anything I need to do, but that's part of my weekly tasks is to get things entered in. These are down on the bottom of the list, though. How I talked about priorities on my Trello board on Friday. It's going to be, pay everybody. That's very important. Get my bills and my finances done. That's very important. And if I have time, it's these items down there, because if they roll over, that's okay if it's a busy day. For monthly admin work, let's see here. I have a CPA, so that has been instrumental. I have had her for the last year. Before that, I would do all of my monthly looking at by myself and kind of looking at how many items did I send in, how much profit did I make, my average selling price, anything business wise that I wanted to look at, I would do that on a monthly basis. Now with her, she kind of has the way things go, and I've been learning a lot from her, which is great. Both my CPA and the lawyer's information that I deal with is down below in the comments, and I will say that dealing with companies that specify with e-commerce, Amazon in specific, has been amazing because they know exactly what you're talking about. They know about IP claims, and they know about Amazon and their storage fees and where to pull numbers and how to look at things specifically to Amazon. So absolutely love both of them. For my CPA, before meeting with her, I need to finalize any of my inventory issues. Usually not a big deal. Every once in a while, cost of goods will get entered incorrectly or something to that effect. And then I need to make sure my eBay inventory is up to par, up to speed. I need to upload all my bank statements and any sales records she does not have the ability to do. There's a couple of them she can do eBay. I need to do YouTube. There's just a couple that I need to pull. All in all, it does not take me long to get everything squared away for my CPA. Again, that's going to go on my Trello board, do my CPA stuff. And I have it listed out in an SOP, which again is very important. Anything to make your life easier, go ahead and do it. So on my sheet with the where I need to upload all this, I have it just lined out exactly what I need to do, and it's kind of on autopilot. I don't even need to think about it really. I just kind of click and do. When I meet with the CPA, we go over all of the sales pretty much for the last 3 months, and then at the end of last year we did for the whole year sales, but for the most part every month we go over the sales for last month and then all the last 3 months. We're going to look at the percent profits. We're going to look at where my money is going, how much storage I'm using, or what is it? It's the percent on what I'm paying Amazon for storage and fees. Because, Amazon takes a lot of fees, and you want to make sure that those fees are as low as you can. I'm going to look at any anomalies, which is usually, maybe something's not classified correctly, or I have a new vendor I'm doing business with, and she wants to know how to classify it. And we're going to discuss any future plans or directions. This year we had discussed bringing on more packers and a VA. For this next year, I will be running by her my plan for a warehouse and see if I'm missing anything big. I've kind of scratched out how much is it going to cost me per month, how much I typically make off an item, how many items I need to sell in order to pay for the space itself. And then I will need to see, in order to pack those many items, how many people do I need, and kind of scratch all that together and what's the best way to go about that. She was very helpful when I did a PPP loan this year on how to, could I do it? Was it good? Should I do it? Etc. When I purchased my car last year, she gave me some advice on that. And it's not, huge talks or anything, but it's nice to have somebody that you can just quickly shoot a message, or when you meet with them, say, I'm thinking about doing this. Am I looking at it the right way? Am I going about it in the right way? And, maybe they see something that you would never have thought of or could think of, such as when I go to a warehouse, does that mean that I need to move from having contract employees to having real employees? Do I need to redo the structure of my business? Things like that. She's just amazing. Okay, the CPA files all my state taxes. So while she's quite of an expense for my business every month, I tell you, she saves me a lot of time and agony and does a lot of work. So it is well worth it. I was a little hesitant last year when I signed up, but it has been worth it for me. It is not something that I would advise somebody who's just starting off that they need, but find a level of help that's on the level that you're at. Okay, other things I do monthly, file all my receipts, invoices, and paperwork. So all those paperworks I've been filing every Friday go into a folder. I take those folders, put them into a what do you call it, a manila envelope, and then they go out into the garage labeled so that if I ever need to find the receipt, I can. Over the years, the most I've had to find is maybe 2 or 3 receipts in a year, and I probably haven't spent more than 15 minutes looking and tracking down a receipt. I say that because I see a lot of discussion on whether you should file all of this stuff electronically or have the paper. The paper doesn't take up that much room, in my opinion, and I would spend more time trying to enter it in electronically than I would just going out and finding it. Because really, I go in and I can pull the month pretty easy, go through the paperwork. It's in somewhat, order. I have store receipts followed by Amazon stuff, followed by eBay stuff. So it's really easy to find, and it's usually in sequential order. So, I look at Inventory Lab if I need to find a receipt for an IP claim or something like that, and I can go find that receipt really darn quick. But do whatever system works for you, but you do need to keep your receipts and invoice and paperwork. That's, if there's one thing you leave with this video is you have to be organized in some way. Find a way that works for you. I am a visual person. I am not an electronic person for keeping those types of records. So I'm going to do what works for me and not try to be somebody that I'm not. I am not ever going to e-file receipt. I shouldn't say never, but I am not ever going to be good at e-filing receipts. I meet with my partner once a month and we go over what's sold. We pull an SKU sales report from Inventory Lab. So monthly, you need to be looking at your past months, whether it's the past month, past quarter, past season. Maybe you're coming up on Easter and you want to see what sold last Easter, sales numbers. Go ahead and pull those reports and you need to be going over them. Now, I wouldn't spend all day, and trends definitely change, but looking at what is sold and how well it did will tell us whether we want to beef up on something or scale back or research more with that company. When I find new products, I am going to do kind of a test buy. My test buy is going to be anywhere from buying 3 to maybe buying a dozen at most of that product. I'm going to test out that company too. So if it's a new company, I'm going to order whatever the minimum they require, but I'm going to order, as little as I can and go as wide as I can. So maybe they have 5 different things that they offer that I think might be profitable. I'm going to buy all 5 of them, maybe 3 each of them, and then test them out. And then at the end of the month, I'm going to see, how did they do? Did I send them in and they flew off the shelf, or are they still sitting there? And then make purchasing decisions based off that going forward. We're going to go over with the staff the items and numbers for the month. So at the end of the month, they want to know, did we reach our goals? Did we not reach our goals? How many did we sit in? And kind of what happened at the month. And if they have any input, if they really want a particular tool, or I haven't really been particular, but we also go over time off too. That's kind of a majority of the conversation. Who's got time coming up that's off and what's going on? Like in October, there's 2 of us that are going to be gone for about a week, and that's definitely going to impact numbers. We need to plan accordingly. The next couple of slides I've got show how I track things for this year, and then I have a slide on monthly admin tasks, and then that's pretty much it, guys. So for Inventory Lab, when we are done with a batch and the batch is completed and we're shipping it out, we then log those numbers into this first part here. So total sales value, total buy cost, net profit, total items. I have been logging the Inventory Lab stuff for quite a while. I wish Inventory Lab would offer something like this. They do have some great graphs on their dashboard, but in terms of production-wise, I just log it into a Google Sheet. So I did this before I hired a packer because I wanted to know, how many items do I pack consistently? What could I expect from hiring somebody? And of course, nobody's going to kind of pack as great as you do, but it will give you an idea that if you are getting up to a point where you are packing all the time and not being able to keep up with things, maybe it's time to start getting some help, So that's where I was last year. This year, I wanted to get up to the point of getting a second packer and getting her trained up before Q4 so that we could do even more for this Q4. In the past, I have tracked different things and I redo this sheet every year and tweak it every year. So, take that with a grain of salt and do, again, something that whatever you want to track in your business, have a tracking sheet so that you can track your progress and hold yourself accountable, right? And base your goals and forecasting off of. So total sales value, we started off the year doing about 45, 45, and in August we finished at 68,000 in estimated sales value. Buy cost 17, net profit 19,221, and total items last month were at 4871. Now I can tell you right now it is September 18th and we've already sent out 2,262 items, which is a little on the low side, but we went back to school. So you've got to know kind of the story behind all these things as well. July, we had quite a few people out. I think all three of us took about a week off at various times in July. And the one thing that I will be adding next year because of that is kind of the hours worked. So if I have it's been really hard with COVID because they had school and then they were going to go back to school, but then they didn't go back to school, and then summer we were going to work a lot and then wound up taking a lot of vacation time. So anyhow, next year I want to put how many hours were worked for these time frames, and I could go back and add that now, but I'll probably just start tracking it in January. When I redo this sheet, I will add a column for hours so that way I can see how many hours it took to pack those 3,000 items. Now I know my one packer works between 20 and 25 hours a week. So, you could roughly do the math for January, February, March up to June. And just being a little bit more accurate with that will help out, especially as I go into a warehouse and add more people on. So that's something that you're going to want to see. You want to see how much labor you're paying for said items, just like you want to know how much your shipping is for items. At the bottom, so I just took this from my Google spreadsheet. I've got this part up at the top and this is kind of down below, is actual sales on Amazon. So not only do I track the projected on Inventory Lab, but I want to track the actual. And that is because my projected is going to be on the high side. If I have two people listed on an FBA item and we'll say one's at 16 and one's at 18, I'm going to pick the $18 one, and then by the time it gets to the warehouse and gets on my repricer, I might be at that $16 mark, but I'd rather be at 18 than 16. If you're going to err, I want to err on the high side for selling an item. You don't ever want to send in your item and have that other person just sold out and they had tanked the price or whatnot, or had a lower price, and now you're like the lowest price by a lot and you're leaving money on the table. Anyhow, so all my numbers going into Inventory Lab are going to be on the high side, and then let my repricer battle it out. For actual sales on Amazon, this year I have done $270,000, and that is without Q4. So I'm pretty excited going into Q4. Last year, just in December, I did about 60 grand in Q4 December. So I may hit $500,000 in sales this year. That's my goal, $500,000. I'm not going to be completely upset. I feel like since COVID, everybody's just kind of in a survival mode. But it's good to have some goals and have them be, you want to have goals that are good, but actually obtainable as well. For total items sold, I've sold over 22,000 items on Amazon this year, which is just mind-blowing to me. And again, this year I am focusing in on items. I had the choice kind of to either go for higher dollar items at the beginning of the year and kind of focus on my average sales rate, or focus on quantity. And I decided that I was more comfortable focusing on quantity than average sale price, and that's where I wanted to go after. For several reasons. That's like a whole nother video. Anyhow, for total items sold, if I'm selling 3,000 a month in items and I'm packing in, we'll say between 3 and 5, and I get a warehouse and I want to pack out at least 5,000+ items every month, then I need to figure out purchasing, capital involved in that purchasing, and then the physicality of where those products are going to go. Right now, my garage is a nightmare. I don't have a better way to say it. So as I look at a warehouse, I'm trying to look at the spatialness of it and how that workflow is going to go in to best work for me. For inventory valuation and this 2% evaluation, this stems off a video I've talked about a couple of times that Jessica Hill did. And she talks about if you look at your inventory valuation, industry standard is 2% of that inventory should be selling every day. So your daily sales should be at least 2% of that, which puts me at about $700 a day I should be selling. And I can tell you right now, my sales per day are more than $7,000 a day. So I'm not sure how accurate this is. And I might just get rid of this column altogether because it's not really working for me. But again, I reevaluate this every year in January, and I will redo my sheet for 2022 in January. Probably get rid of this. Probably keep the inventory valuation because I do want to make sure my inventory I'm getting more inventory. It's growing and not getting less. I want to go into Q4 with the most inventory, and I expect coming out of Q4 to be knocked down a bit and have low amount of inventory. Had a little break in between video filming here, but back at it with this slide. This is one of the slides that I will print this graph out and put it out in my hallway. Kind of gives an idea. It's a good talking point. It's a good reminder of what you're doing in business and everything. But every month I will update this slide or update a slide and put it out on the board. It helps with communicating with the rest of your family, and maybe if you have visitors or other family visiting, kind of what you do for work. It's really easy to kind of be seen as a part-timer or something kind of insignificant. I don't know if that's the right word to say, but when people see or hear that you're just selling online, they don't understand what that means necessarily, and they don't understand the volume. But if you could show them that, geez, yeah, I do sell thousands of dollars every month, tens of thousands of dollars every month, and I have employees and whatnot, it's gives a little bit more idea to people on what you're doing and how things are going and what your volume is and lifestyle is. The other thing that these graphs in particular are good for is to kind of see if you are accomplishing your goals and also forecasting for the future. Now I'm lumping those into kind of administration tools because you do need to keep track of how you're doing somehow, whether it's by sales or number of items sent in or growth or profit or money or however you're going to keep track of yourself and what is important to you. You're going to need to come up with a couple of ways, and every month or week or quarter or whatever is good for your time scale, go ahead and put that together as part of your administration tasks. So I'm just sharing with you kind of what I do. So weekly and daily I am adding to this sheet. Every month I'm going to go through and I'm going to pull the month previous sales data, and then I'm going to put them together in some sort of graph. And these graphs have, grown over the years to look in different things. And sometimes I will print out different graphs depending on what we're kind of focusing on. And this year I'm focusing on adding more packers and thus more items. I'm focusing solely on items going into Amazon. And with more items into Amazon and more items sold, that should equal more profits. That's the theory behind that one. This last slide here is for kind of my bird's eye view, and every once in a while this will be a graph that will go out there when I'm feeling like it. Every month I'm going to put a different graph out there. Just depends on which one I'm looking at or focusing on. The idea here is it is good to kind of step back and see how your personal growth has gone over the years. I started in 2015. I started with used books, and I have now grown to mostly wholesale items and hopefully going to hit 500,000 in sales this year. But you don't go from 25 to 500 overnight. It is a growth, and that growth journey is going to be different for everybody. I can tell pardon me. I can tell you right now that in the 6 years I've been doing this, I have had my house flooded. I have had my daughter is doing her 3rd year of online school. I have had problems with my son in his school. I have had my dad pass away. There's been problems, and that's my journey. Your journey is not going to look like mine, but understand behind all of these numbers, there is a journey, and there's things that were done or not done, etc. So, you know, I can explain all the numbers, and you have to report to yourself, maybe your significant other, and keep that in mind. Another thing is just to give yourself some perspective and see how you're doing. And as long as you are growing and you are learning, you're going to succeed. So you're not giving up, you're growing, you're learning, you're tracking yourself for that growth, and be proud of it. I'm not unhappy with these numbers. I am proud of these numbers, and putting them out and looking at my accomplishments over the last 6 years sometimes can give you that mental boost to keep going, and especially when things are tough, because I tell you, I've woken up sometimes to some really bad emails or IP claims, or worried about my account getting shut down, or this week has been just day after day of bad deliveries. Things have shown up and I have gotten the wrong items, dirty items, broken items, wrong count, etc. And so it's been really kind of a rough week at work here. But looking at these numbers kind of gives me like, okay, it might have been a bad week, but that doesn't mean it's going to be a bad month or a bad year. I'm still going in the positive, kind of getting out of the trenches and looking at that. And that's important when you're doing administration tools and the admin work. There's a lot of things we have to do, responding to customer inquiries, or, deleting old inventory, but also tying your goals in so that you're progressing in the way you want to is very important for your administration tasks. This is the last slide, and I labeled it quarterly yearly, but really it should be quarterly / biannually / yearly. And a couple of, I don't have too much on here, but they are all very significant, and there's reasons to do them not so frequently. First up is taxes. Every year you got to do your taxes, and sometimes you need to do your sales taxes monthly or quarterly. My CPA does all of my sales taxes, but yearly taxes, I do have quite a bit of paperwork that I'll need to do. So my January and February Trello boards are going to have a lot of tax stuff to them as that becomes available to start rounding up and getting going. Goals in progress. I do goals in progress once in January and reevaluate in June. That works for me. January is kind of just after Q4. You can kind of hunker down and spend a day, what worked, what didn't work, post-mortem type of things, and then going into the new year, what do you want to accomplish? In June, I revisit those goals, see how they're going. Am I on track? Were they good goals? Were they bad goals? Do I need to tweak them? Do I want to get rid of them all completely, or tailor them? Maybe something changed and we've got to change what we're doing. I mean, COVID hit last year, so clearly my goals had to change and adapt. But I really want to sit down and look at them significantly during those twice a year times and the progress. Of course, I'm going to see, monthly how I'm doing, but those are very quick administration type of tasks. Adding in your total sales for the month and putting them on a board does not take very long. Next, deep cleaning and reorganizing. This one, I used to try and do some sort of cleaning and organizing thing, and I found that I was putting way too much time into something that really didn't need to have that much time and energy dedicated to it. So now just twice a year, I will go through and do deep cleans and reorganizing and kind of reevaluating what I need to keep on hand. And that again has changed as I've grown. Last year I did huge sales for Merchant Fulfilled Q4. My amount of boxes that I keep on hand, went up tenfold. Poly bags, maybe this is a good time twice a year to go look through and see how do you do your poly bags? What sizes do you order? I started ordering, when I first started Amazon, the variety pack that had 100 of 4 different sizes. went up to 100 packs, went up to 200 packs. Now I'm at 1 to 2,000 polybags cases. And then the next step would be from going from ordering on Amazon to maybe U-Haul or something else where I will get even more of a discount if I order more. So reorganizing my supplies, I had to scale it back and just twice a year do a clean and an organizing and not have that eat up so much of my time during not, during other times. SOPs, software, and equipment goals. This is huge. Every quarter and twice a year, I will kind of map out what kind of SOPs I want to write and what would benefit my business the best. And for that, this year at the beginning of the year, January, February, I wrote SOPs on what could I have a VA take over that administration-wise that I could document, right? And SOP stands for Standard Operating Procedure. So what could I document that I do every week that a VA could take over and I could pay them to do that and then not have that on my plate anymore? And something like deleting old inventory is not very hard, but it requires, what do I need to do? I need to set up their account access. I need to make sure they have access to this and that. And then I need to be very particular on which things they are going to go through and delete and the process for that. My SOPs for my VA have a link with a Loom video. So the Loom video explains, I film the screen and the Loom video films me going through and doing that process. So the VA not only has a written procedure with pictures, but they also have a video procedure. But now once I set that SOP up, she puts all my new items on the repricer to the standards that I want. I had to update it when I went to the AI repricer this summer, but other than that it's done. I put some time and effort into it, and now I don't have it on my weekly to-dos. Software. Looking at software to help your business out is another thing. This year I did a huge migration over to Sellbrite, which I don't talk about much because it's all for my Shopify, but it is something that's very time consuming. That was a big business decision that I needed to do. Things for Amazon, adding Keepa to my business was a step, a pretty good step. I really enjoyed that one. Same with Inventory Lab. Those were two software systems that really helped out with business. Going forward, I might be using the Feedback 5 if I want to get more feedback, and that's only because if I got more feedback, there is a chance that I could get the buy box more. But it is a project that is tabled for right now that I will look again at in January and going, okay, for 2022, do I need a feedback software at all? And evaluate that then. Equipment goals. Over the years, I have added more printers, impulse sealer, shrink wrap. A shrink wrap, it's not a hair dryer, but it's a shrink wrap sealer. It blows hot air. I have added some more UPC scanners, so I will kind of have an idea of what equipment I'm looking at getting, and then either add that to a wish list on Amazon or something like that, have a Trello board for it, whatever, so that you cannot be distracted with shiny object syndrome. When I am looking at all these administration tasks that are yearly, quarterly, weekly, etc., some of the big derailers are shiny objects and managing your time. So, helping anything that can help with that is going to help you in the long run. Next year going forward, I will be looking at other computers. I do need to get a new computer here soon. It's on the horizon. And with the warehouse that I'll be getting into, I have a slew of equipment that will be needed. So again, that's something I'm starting to jot down. What equipment am I going to need if I want to have X amount of packers? What are they going to need to have access to make me successful? That is it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video and it gave you some insight into the administration parts. If you want some more information about any of those tasks, I can certainly do a video about that. So leave me a comment down below. If you feel like I'm missing something or there's something else that you want to add into it, go right ahead. I would love to hear what kind of other administration type tasks that you're doing. I tried to focus this video a little bit more on the goals and time management and kind of breaking it down in the how I broke it down, not each one. I mean, when I say I need to block out time to go and reprice items, that's kind of its own task. It is an administration task, but this video is not here to show you how to go reprice those items. It's just that, yeah, that's something that I gotta do every week. You gotta go reprice your items and respond to emails and all that good stuff. So, hope you guys enjoyed, and if you learned anything from this video, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. If you are not a subscriber, I would love to have you as a subscriber. I talk about all things Amazon, and I do try to keep up with all the comments and questions, and you're free to email me as well. All of the products that I use and what links and whatnot are going to be down in the box below. All right, guys, take care and have an